What's going on, traders? You guys made it to the one, the only Benzinga. You guys know where you guys are at. Let's go ahead. Let's get live trading started and get right to them stocks.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Those words have been dancing around my head all night. Oh, it's Vegas law, that phrase.
Kiana.
Fisher.
Joy.
Joe. Cards drawn are the past, ones to come are future.
And the best part? It's beatable.
What's going on, team? Let's get this party started. Let's go ahead. Let's bring on the one, the only Ryan Faloona, and of course, Yolo Z in the house. What's going on?
Yes, sir.
Let's go ahead and bring on the one, the hostess with the most, Spencer Israel. What's going on?
Hey. What's up? How we doing, everyone?
Good.
Ryan, are you recovered from Sunday yet?
Oh man, tough to say. This weekend was one of the better weekends in over a decade for me.
Over a decade.
And I'm not even talking about the result of the Bears game because they're an embarrassment.
Oh, that's what I was talking about. What are you talking about?
I'm just talking about football being back. I had a 4-day weekend. I spent it with some friends. I completely unplugged from everything.
That's
I did
awesome.
a ton of stuff that was enjoyable. And here, arguably the most important part, I started a fantasy football league with the happy hour crew, and I put the hurt on my first opponent this week. So I'm ready to go.
I'm happy.
Nice.
I'm happy.
That's because I wasn't your first opponent, Ryan, but we won't get into all that. Let's go ahead. Let's talk a little bit about what we're looking at in the market today. Let's take a look. What do you guys got on your watch list? We got about a little bit over 15 minutes to the bell, so we can do a little bit more explaining what we're looking at in our trades. And you guys go ahead, share your screens.
This is the first screen that I start with every single day. This is the on the left side of the movers tool, on the right side of newsfeed and Benzinga Pro. Always want to see what is up, what is down the most, and then I try to find out why. First thing, I did not talk about this on the pre-market show, but Hut 8 mining HUT. I saw Bitcoin was up today, and I saw Hut 8 was down, and I thought, well, that doesn't make any sense. There must be news, and indeed there was. Filing out yesterday that I missed was that they basically a secondary stock offering, and then they priced the offering this morning. They're selling 7.55 million shares at $8.55 per share. So HUT down 16.78% this morning. On that news, you always look for outliers, right? Again, Bitcoin is up, the miners are up, Hut going against trend this morning. So that is some stock that it's on my radar that I did not yet discuss today. What else? Anyone else watching?
What you got?
I've got one that I'm watching here out the open. Ticker LEV, Lion Electric Company. This is a stock that's in the electric vehicle space. I'm not sure if they're pretending or if they're actually going to have a car long term. Doesn't matter for my trade plan here. I'm looking for this is actually a shout out to 13, one of the viewers that often joins us here. Real good spotting on stocks that can actually bounce back towards a trend line. That's kind of what I think we've got right here. You'll notice in the past, LEV has run several days in a row. This is we've completed 2 days of an upward move on some pretty good volume. So I'm looking for some continuation today. Say we're currently at 1260. Reasonable target would be 14, maybe 1350. So I think there's a point to a point and a half here upside that we'll be able to collect. And the good news is that I think we'll be able to do this pretty early. Looks like LEV, kind of likes to move right out of the open here. So we might know whether or not this is going to be a workable trade right at the open.
Yeah, just to mention one that trades kind of similar with it, not exactly, but Arrival is one that is very similar companies, and they do trade similarly. That's
What's your ticker?
ARVL.
ARVL.
Got you, man.
Yeah, and actually, you know what? Heads up on that, Mitch, because this actually has a kind of a similar trend. A lot of these charts are going to look similar, considering they're in the same sector. So we have something similar here. I'm going to stick with LEV, but appreciate this. I'm actually going to watch this one too.
Of course. Let's go ahead. Let's go to the one, the only, the Yolo Z. What's going on out there, man?
I might get canceled, and here's why. So let's talk about the decent. I mean, not the decent, but the one that I won't get canceled for. Everyone's heard about. I'm gonna cough here in a second. Everyone's heard about. Oh, anytime Apple has a conference, the stock goes down. Well, that was true. And it also broke that 150 level. So for me, you can see the arrow. That's where I went ahead and got puts when it broke that 150 level. On that big flush down here is when I covered, and the rest of it's covered here. Why am I mentioning the past? Because what I'm going to look for is I still have my puts. So I'm going to either wait for it to go down to the low of day, or I'll wait to see what it does at the 150 level to see if it even gets there. So I might grab puts around the 150 level. If it rejects, great. If it goes right above, say 150.50, I will go ahead and get out. And here's the other one. This is why I might get canceled. AMC, I went the other way. I got to follow the money, and I got to do what's right for my wallet. I have bills to pay as well. No child support, but I do have bills. $50 break here. Psychological levels. I can be a broken tape recorder about it. Broke $50 yesterday. I went ahead and grabbed puts. These are the two areas that I went ahead and covered some puts. And 45 was my target. Obviously, I can't sell my puts in pre-market. So I'm waiting for it to kind of test the 45. And that's, if it breaks 45, I'll go short again with puts. But that's what I'm keeping an eye on. Microsoft, I believe, had a $60 billion buyback. So I'm looking for good flow.
And a dividend raise to get to boot. So
you're absolutely right. Dividend raise as well. So I'm looking for kind of like this area right here, possibly 304, 305. If it breaks that, great. I'm getting in. If it gets around $300, I'm going to go ahead and get in as well for a bounce. You can see it's just been kind of chilling here at the $300 level. Like, didn't really do much until, of course, I got the news yesterday, and that's when it went ahead and popped. So those are the three stocks that I'm keeping an eye on. Microsoft around that $300 level. AMD, by the way, had great relative strength yesterday. The market was kind of not happy, but AMD, it did okay. Nothing too crazy. If it breaks out over this 107 level, I will go ahead and get some October calls. And if I'm feeling really, really great, then maybe I'll get some 107 weeklies. But I am looking a little bit ahead, just to avoid any turbulence along the way. My stop loss will be below 105 for those calls that are grabbed if it breaks 107.
Hey, real fast, did I miss anything crazy last week while I was out with you guys? Or I know Ryan was out on Friday, right? Did I miss any crazy YOLOs?
Any crazy YOLOs? Not quite, but I would say AFRM was really good, and I know Ryan had a really good one too. What was it?
On Thursday, we crushed it. I think we gave out 4 or 5 winners ahead of time on Thursday.
It was SP something.
Monster.
It went from $8 to like, what was it, 9 something?
Wait, stop. Who bought a firm?
The YOLO Z.
Why?
Because I bought it 2 weeks ago. And then I was like, oh, I'm gonna go on vacation for a week, and I'm not gonna be watching the market. I'm gonna set a stop, and I set my stop at 90, and it went.
That was his buy trigger. His buy trigger was when you set a stop and left. He's like, okay, stock's gonna go up. So let's
well, it went.
You ain't fading. You
went to 88. It went to 88, and then it went to 1 whatever. So
yeah,
that's annoying. Well, congrats. I'm happy for you.
Wait, Mitch, can you give me full screen?
Yeah, of course. Always.
Oh, here we go.
Spencer Israel, I appreciate you giving me your firm stock. I really do. Thank you.
Oh, baby.
Zunaid, you're welcome.
That's all trading right there, guys. There's always two sides, right? Two sides.
We could have just called each other like, hey, man, I got a stop loss here. You want to buy it?
Oh, jeez.
You want to attack my stop loss?
But anyway,
right here waiting for you.
But so that's the thing. So I'm glad you brought that up. In all seriousness, I'm very glad you brought up the fact that it went to 88 because Spencer, my first entry was about $90, but then I got stopped out because it went to 89. Yeah. Then when it crawled right back up above 90, I went ahead and got back in. So yeah, the first time I traded it, I took an L, but I went ahead and got right back in and obviously got a chance to ride it all the way up. But yeah, sorry.
All right. No, I'm glad it worked out for somebody. You know, I'll be winners. It was frustrating because someone tweeted at me on like Thursday. They were like, "Oh, I bet you're loving this firm," and I was like, "No, I don't think I am."
Oh man,
I was like, let me check my account, like because maybe like my order did not get filled? No, it got filled.
It got
No,
filled.
it got filled.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Oh.
all right. It's 9:21. We got to keep an eye on the chat here, see what they're watching. But Mitch, what are you watching today?
All right, first things first, I'm going to, of course, ask for some likes. Let's go. Let's get this started before the bell. I know that some people in the chat are going to be liking the stocks that I'm going to be mentioning here. So if you like one of these, definitely hit the like button. Looks like multiple people have been mentioning this one this morning after a big run yesterday. FCIL, FCEL did have earnings yesterday. So to me, what stands out is 644. So I'm looking for that level to hold. Really, it's all about the we're going to look for that 650 hold. It's okay if it dips down towards, let's say, 44, but we really wanted to hold that 44 multiple times yesterday, holding and now holding multiple times in pre-market. It's okay if it dips down, maybe even a cent below that, but we want to see a quick red to green getting above this high 66, 62, and then 66 above. That's where we want to see it start pushing. We'll see if it gets back towards that high. I had a high yesterday of 747, I believe. Let's see what we got here. No, 54 was the high yesterday. So we'll see if it can take out 66 and head towards $7. That's FCIL. And if you want to watch that one, also watch Plug. I'm looking to see Plug get strong today. So if FCIL got strong, why not Plug get strong? They like to run hand in hand. I'll look for that same move today above 25. I'm looking for strength. We'll see if it gets moving. It's at 24.74. That's Plug. Let's go ahead and shift on over here to lodging. So MAR is the stock I gave on Monday. Already has done a second day move. We'll see if it can continue moving on up. Inside day, let's see if it pushes through that high of yesterday, which was 143. And you could also take a look, of course, smaller move, but Hilton moving straight on up. Last 4 days, straight back up. Could have a pullback to 130, but who knows, right? I mean, Hilton's not a bad one to take a look at. And with this being said, I did get stopped out in Airbnb on Monday, but look where it's back at. This candle right here is stopping me out. But, hey, I still think this one's looking good to set up through that 170 look. And if we look at the weekly, if we get through that 170, the next stop for me would be 180s and 190s. So not a bad looking trade there in Airbnb setting up. And what's also making me interested in Airbnb is the setup that you're getting in the long-term vacation homes here for Marriott. Look at this setup. Nice weekly chart, daily chart also setting up. Nice strong candle on Monday. Nice. Then we got a sideways day. Let's see if this pushes through that resistance, and nice little setup there. What gave me the sign to look at this one was HGV, which was Hilton's version of this. And look at this chart. Look how this has been trading the last 16 bars, up about 22%. HGV, Hilton Grand's Vacation. Take your eyes on those. There's some reopening trades moving.
There were so many of these like really obscure hotel travel stocks, right? Like there's Marriott, there's MAR, but there's also like MVC, right? Or not MVC. What's Marriott? What's the other Marriott? VAC, right?
Yep.
Marriott. There's just so many obscure. There's like Wyndham Hotels. There's like so many obscure hotel stocks out there that you don't think about. So
I'll give you some charts. I'll run through them right here. Hyatt, you got Hyatt. You could look at Choice Hotels, CHH.
I didn't even know Choice was public. CHH.
Yeah.
Today I learned.
Wyndham, WH. Look how these are all looking like they're pointing to the upside. I mean, Marriott's looking good. Let's look at IGH. This one's an interesting one. Owns a lot. So maybe see if this one finds a bottom and gets back through that 65. But, hey, I'm going to definitely pay attention to these because they're definitely moving.
I agree with you, Mitch. And I think one of the takeaways, Spencer, you were asking me how my weekend was. One of the takeaways that I had from this weekend was that, what we see online and what we see going through the news cycle is not always an accurate reflection of how people feel. And I spent all weekend watching people cram into stadiums and have an absolute great time. People want to go places. They don't want to be locked down. They want to go places. They want to go on vacation. And I think that bodes well for a lot of these stocks that we're talking about. A lot of those hotel chains, even if you see commercials for them, they're always talking about how they've increased their safety protocols and they're ready to handle guests and they're doing all of these different things. And I think that the appetite for the public matches that. And I think that, you're going to see this. You're going to see some of these stocks be more in favor. How long is that going to take? That I don't have an answer for you. Otherwise, I'd put my money where my mouth is. But yeah, I did think about that this weekend. It was not localized to a certain area. Pro, college, men, women, everything.
I'll tell you one thing from traveling recently. I can definitely see that. Hey, yeah, no one. I don't think there's anyone that's liking going on a plane with a mask. But if you go to a hotel, they're not making you wear a mask, right? So that's a little bit different. And so, yeah, at least when you travel to the hotel, you're feeling like it's regular old traveling. But when you travel on a plane, that's when you really start seeing the difference. And that's why I think the airlines are not as in favor, of course, because it's business travel, but it's just not a favorable experience right now. Hotels are still hotels, right? They're just clean.
Yeah.
Anything, they're cleaner.
You can actually carry that exact thought process through to the cruise ships if you wanted to expand that even more. We had a gentleman on the happy hour that recently went on a cruise, and he said it wasn't great. They forced you to do all this stuff that made it not great.
I've been wondering about that because I've been wanting to go on a cruise. I know I shouldn't, but
cruises are great, dude.
They're awesome. Yeah,
wait,
I love it.
Wait, Ryan, tell me more about this because I haven't actually spoken to anyone who's been on a cruise.
Yeah, I don't necessarily want to speak for him, so I'm just kind of paraphrasing one of the things that he was saying. But this is something that he was looking for. He was grateful that he didn't get trapped. Obviously didn't get trapped on the boat or whatever. But anywhere he went, he had to wear a mask and even in ports of call and stuff like that. And some of the lines have the ports of call reduced for the sake of this whole thing. So here's the thing, Spencer. I really want to go on a cruise too. I've been on a cruise before. They're awesome. They're a lot of fun. But I don't. What? Say again.
Me and you.
Let's do it. We need the Benzinga cruise.
Yeah, what the hell?
The Benzinga cruise.
That could be a reality show. Spencer and Ryan on a cruise.
Thanks.
Ryan and Spencer go cruising. Done. Book it. Jason, we need a budget.
Whoa, that has connotations I don't want to be a part of.
Trading summit on the Carnival.
Spencer, we are in luck. The gentleman that I'm referring to is here in the chat. Kindred Duke is the gentleman I am referring to. He was vaccinated. He had to wear a mask. He still had to produce a negative COVID test. Just a lot of the fun things that you do on a cruise were made not as fun because of this. So I have no problem waiting on that.
All right, fair enough. Thanks a lot, Kindred, for sharing your experience. I want to hit on the stock from Elite Trading here. We had not much in the way of earnings this morning or last night, but we did get one. Weber Grills, their first report as a public company, WEBR. I was actually not so much interested in Weber this morning as I was looking at Cook, right? They do their sympathy plays, but Weber's report was good. Right, you can see the headlines there from the Pro Newsfeed. Sales came in basically in line for the last quarter, but their sales guidance for the year, I guess that was also in line. So more, whatever. The stock is up this morning as I go to a chart here, but I was surprised to see Cook not really trading with it. So here's my chart of Cook. Here's a 1 minute. You don't really see any trades yet today. Let's go to a 15-minute chart. You don't really see any trades yet today in Traeger, but Weber is trading higher on its report. I guess the bar was already so low. Stock's been straight down since its IPO, pretty much. So anyway, yeah, Weber. Interesting that the report seemed okay. The reaction this morning is positive. We'll see if it can hold the gains. The pre-market high is the level to watch, which is basically where we're at right now. So okay, we are opened. Let's move as always. As we do at the open, from this movers tool to the scanner tool in Benzinga Pro, and watch for stocks making quick moves off the open today. What jumps out to me right now? I see JD.com making a quick move here.
Just want to mention in the chat, I know they've been mentioning Palantir. That's a good one to keep an eye out. Great daily chart. Just needs to break through the resistance, which is 2650 or 2675.
All right, I'm just going to go ahead and YOLO this real quick. Microsoft 305
YOLO.
weekly calls. Microsoft 305 weekly calls got filled at 178.
Just to put a little disclaimer here, this is not your YOLO. This is Zunaid's YOLO.
Let them know, baby. That's what I'm looking at here. And look, you can see that strong volume right out the gate. Now, this is cute and all, but I need that 305 break. If I get that 305 break and I get a retest and a consolidation, I will go ahead and tack on more. But for now, it's just 305. Let me see where they're at now. By the way, if you're in the chat, hey, let me know. Let me know you bought it with me. Let me know you're losing money with me. It's always nice and easier when you know other people are going broke as well.
Renidu's asking about Thinkorswim. It's in and out for me, Renidu.
Mine lagged out of the open for whatever that's worth. It seems to be okay now, but it was definitely laggy out of the open.
Yeah.
There's that 305 break, by the way. If you wanted to spend a little less, right, in terms of YOLO, you could grab like a 310, but just keep in mind that is so much more risky than the 305s there. But anyway, you saw that wick. Buyers were there. Sellers coming back. Let's see what happens. 305 is the resistance at the moment.
Someone asked what the difference was between the movers tool and the scanner the scanner in Benzinga Pro. The short answer, and I'm sure Ryan can explain it better. The short answer is that scanner is a more real-time tool, right? I use the movers to look for after hours and pre-market movers. I use the scanner tool during the market hours when the market is open.
Tag me. Ryan taught me well.
Okay, Zunaid, go ahead.
Movers is a tool that you use to plan the next day's trades that you're going to take because you're seeing all the stuff that happened today. Scanners, you're using intraday to figure out what you can take in between 9:30 and 4 o'clock. Did I do okay, Ryan?
You were close. What
Damn.
you explained was the difference between screener and scanner.
Oh, that's what I thought Spencer was talking about. I messed up.
About movers.
Ah,
But let me just kind of add to that because Zunaid's exactly right. What I use movers for is setting up my trades in the pre-market because it's able to isolate the pre-market and also give me a very nice interface for marrying a chart to the news flow for that particular stock. So in that regard, that's actually exactly what I use movers for. I set up for the actual day. Now, intraday, once we're intraday, I do use the scanner for exactly the reason that Spencer said. It's real time and it's constantly updating based on the criteria that I put in there, and we're adding to it every day. So, and I actually got this. I actually got this question yesterday. It wasn't asked in this setting, but let me quickly answer it. Why? Someone asked me, well, why would you ever choose refresh 10 seconds over real time when you have that option? And the answer to that is because if it's in real time, this list will refresh all the time. And if there's a lot of movement, you may see a ticker added to that list and then pop off of that list because it no longer meets the criteria. By having the refresh period at 10 seconds, it stays on there a little longer, gives me an opportunity to pause it or load that chart.
All right. I'm looking at the top right-hand part of my screen here, the top right box for evolved movers in the last 5 minutes, and Jinko Solar jumps out to me. Stock really popped hard off the open here. We are above $50 in JKS right now. And they had earnings.
Solar stocks moving?
Jinko
Ryan.
had earnings, and their earnings or whatever. You know, they came in light.
All right, guys. We'll point out here, basic materials are moving today. I only see two in the red, which is gold and building materials. Aluminum leading, also steel up, copper, coal. So you guys can look at basic materials. Energy is also up massively. You can take a look maybe at some energy names, seeing how they're performing. I know Duke isn't looking too bad, holding VWAP there. We'll see if it maybe closes the gap up towards 101.50. Akoa also big move on up. We'll see if it gets back up there. A lot of these basic materials, they gapped up, now coming back down to support. Let's see if they get a big rip going into the next couple of minutes.
Real quick, Ryan, would you mind checking what the 305 calls for Microsoft were at? Because I'm seeing that they went as high as $4.40 on E-Trade, and I just have a hard time believing that.
Which ones?
305 calls for Microsoft, please.
For September?
This week, weeklies. I apologize.
All right, let's take a look here. Let's actually that was the little Terminator 305. Let's send that to red, and let's take a look and see what we see here.
Because if that's the case, then
I have a high print of 445 this morning on it.
that is insane. So my calls that I purchased for $1.80 went that high and I didn't sell it. That's what you're telling me? Or is that like a volatility spike type thing? Because I'd be a little upset.
That's the thing. Maybe there was someone that placed an order and one of their 10 calls was filled at 445 and the rest of them were filled. But you don't know. It really depends on the actual depth.
That's what I assumed. It's just a volatility in the morning where, they're filling in the orders or whatever. Okay. Yeah. All right. I don't feel that bad because I was like, there's no way I just missed out on.
Yeah, basically, we have a price at this level, but I don't think that there might have been any volume there, right? I don't know that there really was. I don't know that you could have sold at 445 is basically what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Even though it hit that price, I'm not sure you could have done that.
Oh, man. See, that's one of those things where I know that, but it's like someone just tell me that I wasn't just the biggest loser out on that. But anyway, Microsoft. Okay, so I want, if you can, let's pull up my chart here. Let me know when it's up, please.
You're up.
I am up. Awesome. Cool. So Microsoft, let's see what it did, right? Had a nice little open, 305. We said that would be the level, rejected, and it came back and it tested low of day right here. And then it came right back up. Same thing, rejected once again. Now, what is it going to do? What you want to see is a higher high, right? Or excuse me, a higher low. So you want it to kind of be here and then continue going. You don't necessarily want it to come back and keep testing, which of course now it might do. So this is the area that now I wanted to hold. Now, of course, mine was a YOLO, so it is what it is. But this is the area that I wanted to continue bouncing off of. If you wanted to, you can go ahead and grab that 305 right here. And if it breaks below 303, just get out. You're probably going to risk about maybe 30 cents or so. If you're in commons, you're going to risk about 40 cents or so. But this is one way that you can get in if you have a smaller account. Your risk appetite isn't that great. You want to play commons, whatever. But this is something that you can go ahead and do. I did want to point out low of day, bounced up, rejected once again at 305. Now it's flirting with low of day once again right over here, or I guess right here. And let's see what it does.
And SPY pulling after that initial move out of the gate here, pretty much everything pulling back. Apple, Square, even some of the banks lower now. So SPY pulling here. We'll take a look and see if we actually find the bottom where we're going. It looks like Microsoft's pulling a little on that too.
Big concern if we crack 374.23 on the Qs. This is a big concern, guys. Multiple bottoms at that level. If we break that on the Qs, I might even be shorting tech today. So get ready, guys. If we break that, things can go red really south.
When you're talking about shorting tech, are you talking about a shorter term trade, or are you trying to swing that?
Just literally the momentum of the day, because if we break this, we're talking about 3 levels where it's tried to break down. You could see some big selling go through that level. I know for sure I'm not the only one watching that level today. We'll see what happens with it.
Yeah, it's a head. Sorry, Zunaid, real quick.
Fine,
heads up spot on the Qs. One of the things that I'm watching is the SPY. And if you flip over to my chart here real quick, I've got the 50-day moving average on a daily chart on the SPY. And you can see pretty much going back to what? February of this year, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bounces off of it. Now we're coming in here. So are we going to bounce again? Are we going to break down a little bit more? I think if we break down, I think we might come down at 435 here on the SPY. So I'm more watching the SPY than the Qs, but very similar type setup.
Just an update for the folks at home. If you want to share my screen again, I mentioned that AMC, my puts would be 445. So I did get a fill. I was automatically out there. So I am out of all but one of my AMC puts. And that rest, the one that's left, I'm just going to kind of keep that as a quote unquote YOLO, hoping that a target of 40 approaches sometime this week. But did want to update you guys on that. Let's see what's going on with Microsoft real quick. Well, would you look at that? Did anyone in the chat, by the way, someone in the chat went ahead and said that they brought Microsoft 305s at 170, sold at 196. That's awesome. That's a great, what is that, a 26-cent move? Towers, I want to hear from you. What was your stop loss? Because it's great that you got a 26-cent move, but I want to hear about what your stop loss would have been. But regardless, we literally called this out live. Look at the low of day test. And if you wanted to, you can grab options right here, or you can grab comments. Below 303 would be your stop loss. And now you can see it's rejecting VWAP. So now you want it to kind of break this and then continue going. But of course, the market's got to be with you. If the market's not with you, it's going to be a little bit tough. And you can see SPY, we mentioned it. Ryan talked about it. Just a slow decline at the moment. So you're going to need participation from Microsoft. By the way, AMPE, we had breaking news on this one earlier. You can see the pop all the way from 145, one as high as I believe 167. So keeping an eye on this one as well in case we get some volume on this one. But this was an exclusive breaking news that we had released at 9 a.m. through Benzinga Pro.
Real quick here, I see in the chat, MT is shouting out MTTR. That's Matterport. What's interesting about that? Matterport really strong out of the open here today. Came off this 1850 level with the quickness, and we're trading above 19. What's interesting about this particular setup is that yesterday there were a bunch of sweeps. In fact, some of these price spikes happened when we saw some of those option sweeps. I don't have the actual strike and expiries handy in front of me. I'm sorry that I don't have that ready, but there were a lot of sweeps on this. So it's interesting that it's also performing today. This might absolutely be one to watch today. I think the way that I would trade this without kind of increasing my edge is I would wait for a break of yesterday's high of day. So looking at about 1932, we're currently at about 19. I think if we snap that, you might have a day trade on your hands here.
I'm sorry, but real quick, Mitch, did you not have producer Mitch? Was my screen not up the whole time I was talking about Microsoft levels?
No.
Oh, okay.
No,
Someone said
that.
wrong screen up.
Yeah, no. When Ryan was talking about MTTR, I don't know. Someone put my screen
I was
up.
like, damn, Mitch.
I was looking at Tesla, and that's why probably someone was like, whoa. So I was looking for Tesla shorts. I was looking at the contracts, but they're just so expensive, man.
That's my issue with Tesla too.
I would short it right now. I would buy a put. I would YOLO it like Zunaid likes to do. But
you have to sell the premium. You have to sell the juice. That's what they're so pricey.
Yeah, they're so pricey.
You have to sell. If you want to bet against it, sell some calls. It's not the same thing, but it's still a bearish bet. I mean, to me, this is why I stick to just commons, because I would short this on commons all day. Just the options, just not.
Yeah,
the
spread is what kills me, right? Because if I want to risk, like, let's say $1 and try to get a $3-4 move, man, as soon as I get in, that thing's gonna shift. I'd be like, boing, you're out. I'm like, all right, great. This is how Spencer felt with AFRM. I had to.
Yeah, that's how it is.
I had to. It's too easy, pal.
Yeah,
that's how it is, man.
Hey, it was too easy.
Real fast. Watching BLI, a short report from a firm that I admittedly I've never heard of before. Scorpion Capital. BLI basically called this thing a zero today. This is a Kathy stock. ARK Invest has I think, and I think I own this via one of the ARK funds. I'm not even quite sure what I own anymore, but BLI being called a zero today, and also watching Win. This stock is now down 20% in 2 days. We went from 103 at the close on Monday. Was it Monday? Yeah. We're now at $83, guys. This is just absolutely brutal for Win.
Brutal.
This is not a stock that really moves a ton, right? If you go back the last couple years here, last few years, I mean, the top there, that was when Steve Wynn left the company in 2018. But just a brutal period here for Wynn. And Las Vegas Sands too. I mean, they're all still down. This Macau headline's not going away. The sentiment is so negative across the board, whether you're looking at Win, you're looking at MLCO is another one, right? That's Melco Resorts. Look at that thing. It's down to $10. It's just brutal. I don't know what to say. Melco just fell through support. So it's please. Be careful catching knives, buying dips, trying to call the bottom. It is so hard.
That I completely agree with you, Spencer. I'll be honest, I love Win. This is a stock that I really like. You're spot on with it though. It's not ownable right now with the headlines that we're getting about Macau and out of China. I mean, it's just not ownable. It's down so much. I mean, I was saying yesterday, I think inevitably if things go back to normal, this is a $200 stock. But we are nowhere near that. And there is just no way that you can play for that right now. One of the guys that I follow on Twitter that's really connected to gambling stocks in particular, but also Macau, was saying China doesn't even care if it puts its own companies out of business. Galaxy, Melco, all getting punished. Go communism. And it's like, this is part of it, right? If you have to pay attention to stuff like this, and you have to factor this into your trading plan. I love the stock. I can't possibly buy it. And to your advice about catching a falling knife, please be careful if you try to do that. Please, please, please be careful. That is a very, very fast way to knock yourself out of this game. So just understand what it is that you're trading.
In the same area, one is doing well, but it also, of course, has different plays attached to it, is Penn today. Look at that push right now.
And that's a great point, Mitch.
I'm so glad you brought it up.
I'm so glad you brought that up for a couple reasons. As Mitch just pointed out, Penn very noticeably does not have any exposure to Asia, right? They have zero properties in Asia. That's why Penn is outperforming relative to their peers today. But
are you going to tell them? You're going to tell them.
Going to tell them, guys, this Friday, we will have the CEO of Penn, the CEO of Penn National Gaming, Jay Snowden, on pre-market prep this Friday, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. If you have a question you would like us to ask Jay, tweet at me at SJIsrael. Send an email to shows at Benzinga. Just put Penn in the email subject or whatever. But we will have the CEO of Penn, Jay Snowden, on pre-market prep in 2 days.
Friday.
Now,
what time?
Friday.
What time?
8:30.
8:30 in the morning.
8:30.
Alyssa, are you watching? Are you watching? Alyssa, if you're watching, we need a graphic of this interview, and we need to post it on Twitter and get some questions from our social media folks, because should be an exciting interview. I'm excited for that one.
Hector, different Snowden. Hector, come on. Not the
I thought Snowden was on the run. Hector. All right, so look, getting back to trades, right, Mitch? I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna ask for my charts to come right back up. Okay. So I went ahead and I grabbed some more YOLOs, right? But this time it was like a trade type thing. So I grabbed the same thing, 305s, grabbed it around this area here. Same exact thing that I mentioned to you guys. 303 area, and I was gonna say I needed to break VWAP, and now it kind of is. Now, if I'm a greedy pig, what I might do is I might hold on to some here because I want to kind of see that 305 break. But let's see. But it depends on your account. If your account is something that you're growing and you grab those calls that I mentioned at that 303 level, go ahead and sell some here because it can easily fail with the market and come on back down. If you grabbed one contract, take the profit, continue growing it. I'm sure it's probably up about 20%. 20% in a day is pretty good. If you have a bigger account, you have more contracts, let some go right here. Let some go at 305 and then enjoy the rest if it does right on out. Because again, you never know if this thing's going to come back out down or not. But for me, the ones that I grabbed here at that 303 level, I will sell it if we break 302.80. And just to get my fill out there was 147 for the Microsoft calls that I got around that area.
Okay, question from Habat Salim in the chat, which we did address on our previous show, Pre-Market Prep, support.com, okay? This is complicated, right? But there was a merger today that went through. So support.com, SPRT, is not support.com anymore. It's now a subsidiary of Greenidge Generation. The ticker, let me bring up my charts here. Ticker is GREE, okay? So if you own shares of support.com, now for every share of support.com that you own, you are going to get 0.115 shares of this new stock, GREE, Greenidge Generation. That is now what you own. That is what support.com is a part of. If you're still holding the bag on this, frankly, I don't really know why you would still want to own support.com. But again, that's besides the point, because that's not what you own anymore. Now you own a larger company. You own a smaller piece of a larger company. The ticker is GREE. For every share of support.com that you had, you will get 0.115 shares of GREE. So that's what's happening today. Also, I did see that they did sneak in and GREE snuck in an at the market stock offering. As it relates to the closing of this transaction. But support.com did file with the exchanges to get delisted yesterday. They're going to get this. The stock will go off the board. The chart will go off the board. It will be reflected in your account that you now have this new stock, GREE. That's what's happening today in support.
Now, as far as I do want to say, as far as the recent trading action on SPRT, we've talked about this quite a bit on this very program. This has been on scanners in the morning. We've talked about being careful. We understood that when this thing was squeezing, that the price was just way higher than it ever should. We tried to give as much ample warning about stocks like this as we could. And the one thing I want to add to that is that when someone is trying to warn you about a stock, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's FUD. And this whole AMC GME craze has brought this FUD to the forefront. The reality is that people have different opinion on stocks, and they have it for different reasons. And it's not just someone promoting fear. You're seeing what happened. There were plenty of people that were warning about SPRT when the stock was in the 30s. The day that it squeezed to 60, I said we were going to close below 30. We closed at 29.85. So you have to understand that stocks like this that make these huge runs, eventually reality is going to come back to it. That's what you're seeing in SPRT.
Yeah, and I think the biggest takeaway here, whether it's support.com or any other stock, is your stock does not have to go up. You don't have a divine right to see your stock going higher. Nobody does. The stock does not have to do anything that you want it to do, right? Even if you think it's going up, you've got all these arguments why, whether it's the fundamentals, technicals, short squeeze, whatever. Stock doesn't have to do anything, right? That's just the way it is, right? So remember that, right? That goes for all of us, with all of us, with any, not just stocks, any investment. Could be crypto, right? Doesn't have to do anything that you want it to do. Just as you want it to go up, that means nothing.
Yeah.
We all want our stocks to go up. So who cares?
There's
Who
a
cares?
question you can ask yourself. If you're wishing, hoping, or wanting a stock to go in your direction, you're probably in the FOMO, and your emotions are taking control of your trading.
Yeah.
You've taken the drug.
Yeah,
You've taken the drug. You've taken the drug called hopium, and hopium is never really good for anyone.
Opium is a tough drug, man.
Opium is a tough drug. I suffer from it.
Please let the stock come back. Please let the stock come back. It's coming back tomorrow.
Hard to get
Please
off.
let it come back.
And then
Once you're on it, it's hard to get off.
And then you look for confirmation bias. By the way, see,
Boom. This is what I
Roy,
want to pay attention. Hold on. I just
go
want to
ahead.
call it out because it can be really big, guys. So we went through that level, right, that we talked about in the morning. That's this line right here. Then we broke below it, wicked, got right back up to the VWAP. Now, that's a hard candle down. I just want to point this out because things are going to flip if the Qs flip too. So the SPY also went up, back above VWAP, big push on up. Let's see if it comes back towards the VWAP and breaks down below. If it gets above there and we get to 445 and hold back above, then the SPY is at least looking good. The Qs are the ones that are really testing down today, and we want to see it get back above that 375 with some strength going into that 10 o'clock hour where we'll see what? The hourly trend change. So this is the hourly. The hourly right now has this bear flag right here, or bear pennant, you can call it. And if we break down through that, of course, we're going to be seeing that downside. But if we can reverse, get through 376 on the top side, it will create a bullish engulfing candle here on the hourly. Let's see what happens. Tesla's the one I'm watching also to see what happens on that crack. I was thinking about buying the 635 puts, but I didn't take it there. We'll see what happens.
It's interesting. We started a little bit lower across the broader market, and we kind of bounced up to a support level, and now we're kind of taking a pause here. So I'm just not sure what direction we're actually going to end up going in today. If we take a look at LEV here, one of the things that I was watching out of the open, really just struggling to get anything going here. Looked like it wanted to go initially, but really can't get back there. So I'm not sure if we're gonna what kind of trading day we're gonna have here, but so far, it seems a little choppy. I mean, you have the SPY kind of curling back up, but we've got Apple pounding the lows at the same time. I noticed that Sava was trading up today. Some of the October 80 calls were getting bought. Microsoft pretty much flat from where you were trading it earlier, Zunaid. So I just don't know if we have a direction picked out.
Microsoft is kind of flat, and I'm glad you brought that up. We have a couple of folks in the chat. One of them made money on Microsoft. Roy, congratulations to you again in the chat. If you made money, let me know where your stop loss was, where you took profits, because the folks that are watching you, I don't want them to think, oh, Oh, I was like, what is happening?
What is going on?
The folks that are reading these comments, I don't want them to just have FOMO. I want them to understand that, hey, you also had a risk, which was your downside. But there is someone else in the chat that said, hey, I went ahead and grabbed 305.50 puts. I'm sorry. And that's totally okay, because if you look at the chart of Microsoft, right, if you can pull up my charts again, we both could have made money, right? Like, literally, this was the buy zone that we talked about for the dip. Could have made money as it went to VWAP. Could have had a second chance as it broke VWAP. And you could have went ahead and shorted here and enjoyed the downside as well. So you can go to the upside and the downside and make money, and it's completely okay. I wish you the best of luck if you are still in your position of 305.50s. You won't come at me. I won't come at you on Twitter and be like, yeah, that's what you get. Lose your money. Nah, I won't. But I hope you do profit as well. Stop loss at 305, out at, okay, cool. There you go. Congrats on your profit there. That's awesome, man. That's a nice meal out. I will take that. I wish somebody took me out on a nice meal.
Whoever mentioned the Russell in the chat, I'm sorry, I forget who it was, but yeah, very nice hold here. Get my charts. Very nice hold for now in the IWM, right? We have held, we bounced off near yesterday's low. So there's your key level right now, right? Today's low, yesterday's low. Yesterday's low was 219. So that 219 handle, as long as we can hold that, we're cool. We also got a low from the 26th as well of August. So some serious support at 219. So that's the level to watch for now in the IWM from out this side, long or short side.
All right, who got filled?
Traders. I didn't get to fill, but I just want to call out Akoa and Basic Materials. Beautiful trade there at Akoa, and you could actually see Basic Materials are doing really well. Aluminum up 3%, steel 2.6, copper 2.95, coal. And if you see before I mentioned that there was 2 in the red, now they're all in the green. That gives you a good indication the sector's hot and you're seeing momentum. Also in energy, those are the 2 leading ones, Basic Materials and energy.
So I see someone asking about what's Tesla doing today. Tesla is really struggling today, right? We were talking about shorting that a little bit earlier. I think, Mitch, you ended up not going short on Tesla.
Yeah, I wanted 735s. I would already be big in the green, but I'm gonna stay away just because I don't do the options trade, and I need to get a little bit more capital to be shorting the commons here. So I'll just stay out of it. It was my idea. That's all you could do. Sometimes just write down what the price you wanted and take the trade mentally. It's okay. You don't need to see the results. What you can also do is start developing that option strategy. To me, this is a perfect example of a put and a YOLO. I wouldn't do these often, but this is an environment that I would.
Well, so here's another thing I'll say, right? Obviously, options are different beasts because options might be like $1,000. One option might be. If you're trying to trade something like a Tesla, yeah, what Mitch said is great, kind of having that mental trade. What's worked for me, and everyone else might be different, is I'll go ahead and grab 1 share or I'll grab 2 shares just so that, because the percentage is the same, right? The percentage gain, the percentage loss is the exact same. And this way you can kind of have a documented trade of, hey, here's where I bought it. Here's what my thesis was. It worked out. It didn't work out. And you're able to journal it. So that's something that I like to do, or at least I did when I started trading, or even sometimes right now, right? If I want to see, hey, I believe it'll go to $4 and reject it. Cool. I'll put an order out to short 1 share because I'm not too confident, but I want to see how my thesis worked out. And then that gives me a little bit of confidence going into the next move that I might have.
Yeah, I have a video on 1 share trading. It's definitely important.
Oh, you got to find it and drop it in the chat.
Zunaid, I agree with you. 1 share trading is an awesome way to start. And a lot of people like to do paper, but you're dead on. 1 share trading is probably going to be the best because at least you can go back and really say, hey, I made this percentage or I lost this percentage.
Yep. No, absolutely. Let's see what else is. So Microsoft is still, it's still in that 303 area. Like, good God, either take my money or let me be free and make money.
You want to see a ripper today?
Do this to yourself.
What's up?
We haven't talked about this one, but stock ripping upwards. eBay.
I haven't looked at eBay for a while. How is eBay doing?
Look at that trend. That's a good trend.
Whoa! There must be news. There's got to be news today.
Find something for us, Spencer.
There's got to be something today. eBay doesn't move up $3 at the open for no reason, especially on a day when the Qs are down. Nasdaq down today.
Looks like a sneakerhead inside drop, as they're calling it.
Wait. Stop. Explain for the
Yeah, we don't know what that is.
Explain for the uncool among us, i.e., me. What does that mean?
Okay, I'm not cool either. I'm not into the whole fix thing. But anyway,
Zunaid knows. I know Zunaid knows what that means.
eBay's
Go ahead, Ryan.
Zunaid's cool.
Go ahead, Ryan.
eBay's Inside Drop is giving sneakerheads a rare opportunity to get their hands on some of the world's most exciting or most incredible grails. So it looks like just an event for the sneaker community, which we know is huge. See if that's actually causing the pop in the stock here today. I know Raz owns eBay, so that's probably why it's up.
Where'd you get that news from, Ryan?
The newsfeed.
Of course, Benzinga Pro, man.
He's doing a plug.
Yeah.
He's doing a plug.
I was going to say we work for a news.
Ryan was like, "What do you mean? Isn't it common sense?"
YouTube 20, bro.
My first reaction was, Mitch, how are you asking me this? Like really? But now I got it.
Hey, the speed of you finding that information, which is the important part here, the speed that you got to the news. And so that's what I'd want to point out. And for you guys out there, if you guys want to have this news, fast news and research right here, YouTube 20, get your code. Go on Benzinga Pro.
Yo, Mitch saw, and Neil Hamilton is called Neil. I'm doing a show, Neil, come on. Mitch saw Jason in the chat and just started pitching pro. He's like, "Oh yeah, I went to the office. I had my suit up. I got Jason in the chat. I'm mentioning pro. I'm trying to get a promotion." Let me go ahead and follow suit here. We talked about. Let me go ahead and share my screen.
I didn't see Jason.
Stop it. We've got AMPE. We broke news on them earlier. It was exclusive breaking news that we had. You can see the stock went to about 145s, went all the way up. So you've got that there. And someone is mentioning INDP. I know the Twitter world is all over it. This one, by the way, this has a nice move. Exclusive breaking news that we did. Mitch, you can go ahead and do your plug later. But this one is ripping.
Stock halted.
It is halted. You're absolutely right. So let's go ahead and Ryan, you're my man when it comes to charts with these type of stocks because I am not familiar with them. This is nowhere near any psychological levels of 15 or 10 for my comfort. How would you play this if I can put you on the spot, if that's okay? INDP, or do you feel like it's one of those where you've missed the train and if it comes back to 15, you grab it. If it doesn't, it's okay.
Okay, Zunaid, well, so first of all, I don't mind you putting me on the spot. That's what we're here for. We're here to help educate people, so no problem at all. Let's examine both opportunities because not every trader is the same.
I like it.
The first thing that I would absolutely do is look to the left. Now, here, we don't really have a lot. We're kind of broken into new area here. I will say on my broker, I actually have a different chart, which tells me that this was probably a ticker change in the past, which means a lot of the fundamentals have probably also changed with that. So first thing that I'm going to look for is other levels. Now we don't really have that. So the next thing that I want to look at here, was there anything that we did recently in the past few days? Nope. We're kind of all above that as well. For the most part, you're right. I don't really like to chase green candles, but if I'm going to trade this intraday, I'm almost exclusively going to use the level 2. Now that it's been halted, I suspect that things are going to get wild. There might be another halt around the corner, perhaps even 2 or 3 more halts. So I want to be very, very careful and very, very quick about what I take. Generally speaking, I don't go very big size on stocks that are moving like this because I'm telling you, the last thing that you want is to go in really big, be nervous, and then all of a sudden your stock gets halted. Yeah. That's something that I try to avoid like the plague. I will not profit as much if I can avoid that type of mental situation. So I would look to see what the actual level 2 looks like. Where are their bids? Are those bids real? Sometimes you see bids pile in on the L2 and then they just disappear when the price hits that. So I want to make sure that there's a real bidder under this. And then what I would try to do is just scalp it on pullbacks where it looks like it's going to hold. So Zunaid, when you don't have candles to look at, sometimes you have to look at the only data that you can. Yeah. And when a stock is moving that quickly and in that new area, that might just be the level 2.
I like it.
We're open here now, and we actually popped down, didn't we?
I want to show this up here.
Let's see. So you've got INDP.
Here, I got the level 2 on the right-hand side.
So here's what I'll do. I'll go ahead and buy a small share size at 1502, right? All right, let's go 1505. I'm just gonna put it out there because again, for me, that's a psychological of 15. I believe it'll bounce, and also it's close enough to VWAP. My stop loss will be about $1. But let's see what happens. Again, this is not a trade that I would take if you're watching at home. This is just simply to test my theory of psychological levels, similar to how we said that one share buying that we just talked about, right? That's pretty much what I'm doing over here.
And right now, Zunaid, now that you have that first candle, your stop here is the bottom of that 1 minute candle, which is 1626. So there we go. So for me, I'm out now, right? We popped beneath it. They shook me out of it. We might be trading lower here. So again, you're asking me, how do I do this? And we're asking how do you do something that's very, very difficult? You got to put as many of these odds in your favor as possible and try to play some of the probabilities. We don't know where this is going to go. The only thing we can do is react to what we're seeing here. So it looks like, and now here we are, stocks bouncing back and forth. So that 1626 level that I just gave you, if you had a stop there, you got flushed. We've been back above that and below it several times now. Now we're pushing higher. So again, this is all something to keep in mind. You have to know what it is that you're trading. You can't approach this with a regular trade plan that you would on other stocks, because the stock's not moving like other stocks move. And I just gave you a stop loss that just got flushed out. Now where we're trading back down towards it, I mean, this thing's all over the place right now.
It really is. And Mr. Plug Mitch, you want to tell the viewers to like and share our stream?
Not even.
Jason's in the chat.
I want to show you guys here. If you look on the left-hand side, you would see that their orders are stacked right now at 16. And then another thing that keeps happening is every time that it went above 17, when it opened up, you saw about 2,000 or 3,000 shares thrown up above 17. That was that volume that you saw just filled in there. There was even a high there of 1883 filled. So this just goes to show you how you got to have those orders ready to get put out. This is why I like using hotkey outs on halts. So what I would do is I would put out like maybe 50-cent limit above what my average price is, or $1 above, whatever you're seeing it here. And then what that gives you is an ability to put out an immediate limit order right at the top, and you could get that fill. This is what I like to do, because you don't want to just have the order sitting there like Ryan was saying, because other people are going to see it and they're going to attack that order. What you want to do is put a quick order to sell there. And another thing that happens here is if you are trying to get in, a lot of people think that you can get in on the bid. You can after the halt, but when the stock is also rocketing up there, a lot of people are trying to get in on the ask side and they're jumping into the trade. Let's go back to the level 2, because the level 2 is important here. I don't know if you got the level 2 on your right-hand side, Zunaid. I don't know if you could set that up, but
I don't watch the level 2, believe it or not.
Oh,
I don't watch
crazy.
the level 2. I do not. For me, it's all support resistance. Level 2, obviously, if I knew how to read it and all of that, yeah, it'd be a lot easier. But for me, it's just, hey, here's where I know it's gonna stop me out. Here, I know it's gonna be some profit taking. So,
all right.
Fun fact.
The level I would look to get in this one would be the 1545. And then I'd put the next level down. The next support is at 1459, or you could say 1460. But you're talking about an 80-cent risk here, and then you're looking for a move back up to 17. That's a highly risk trade there. And so you got to always understand, in these trades, what I tell myself is, what's the ultimate bottom or the ultimate risk? If it just flushes down right now, where is it going to go to? More than likely, it's through that 1545 back down to 1460. So you need to understand that. Always ask yourself, what's the ultimate risk of a highly volatile trade? You're going to find out that a lot of times, maybe you're not willing to take that risk, but you see the upside. The upside looks great. But when you really ask yourself that question and the money that it's going to cost if it goes to the negative side, you'll tell yourself, maybe this is not a risk I want to take.
And so speaking of not a risk that I want, I'm sorry, Zunaid, did you have something that you wanted to go with real quick?
I did not.
I just wanted to expand on this real quick. Spencer, if you could throw my screen up here real quick. This will give you an idea of why looking at multiple time frames is going to be really, really important. So here is the window that I would actually use to trade this. Now, I'm not in this. I don't have a trade on this. I was asked to just talk about this kind of on the spot. But if I take a look at this, this is how I'm going to combine all of my different data inputs. Here was the daily chart that I was talking about that I couldn't get data on. And you can see that there's a history of this stock making spikes that look like they're just one day. Well, we've kind of already got that today. So I'm already in a position where, the move might be done. And I don't know for sure that it is, but I have to plan for that accordingly. If I take a look at my 5-minute chart, you can see that we are incredibly extended above this standard deviation channel. At one, in the pre-market, we opened right at the midpoint. We went up to the top of the channel. We actually hung out there for a while. And as soon as the market opened, we busted off of the top boundary of this standard deviation channel. To me, that tells me that this stock at some point wants to come back in. Now, if we zoom in even more to the 1 minute chart, I've got a VWAP here. I've got RSI here. All of our indicators here are telling us, okay, RSI, we're right at overbought intraday. VWAP, we're pushing the upper boundary of the VWAP. We're not even near the midpoint VWAP line. So everything here looks to me like, hey, this stock wants to pull back a little bit. Look at this candle. Look at this candle, 1773. We're pushing up on high volume. That 1883 level might be in there, or that 1883 level might be in play here. I was just telling you what we had a stop here at 1626. Stock's printing 1680 now. So just an absolute ton of momentum. And you can and Mitch, to your point here, I filtered my time in sales like you instructed me to. So we're only getting a view of some of these bigger lots. We're not getting some of the smaller lots in here. And you can see just in the time that I've been talking, this has swung from being mostly sells to mostly buys. Look what the price did.
Oh man, beautiful. I think it's about to get halted again. Look out for a halt here.
Where was the level 2? The
Halt
level
right
2
here.
volume was at 16. That's why I used the level 2, guys. You're going to be able to see the big orders just sitting there on the bid. And what I would have done is if I see a big order at 16, I put my order out at 15.95 because I want to have a better price than he does when he gets filled. And then I want to see him sell into the ask. And then I'm going to sell after he does. So I get a better entry and a better exit. That's my goal.
And Mitch, to your point about 16, if we take a look at these charts, 16 is not an obvious number anywhere. So this is exactly why using the level 2 is very, very helpful. You were able to identify an intraday spot that we were not able to see with larger time frame charts.
I want to bring on a guest for a second here who's been waiting patiently in the background. He said he has a live trade for us. So Aaron Bree, let's bring him on. You have a live trade, AB?
Yes, sir. I was getting ready to make a live trade, and I figured, hey, no better place to do it than with my Benzinga family on the live trading show.
What do you got for us?
What's that?
What do you got for us?
I'll show you. Or let me get my screen shared up.
Jason's still in the chat. Everybody just doing great today. Look at that.
But yeah, so Spencer, there's this guy who manages a fund, small fund called Berkshire Hathaway. His name's Warren Buffett.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
And his thing is that he likes to invest in companies that provide a good value. So he'll buy stocks when he thinks a company's undervalued. He likes companies that make money. So here's the stock that I've been watching at, Harmony Gold. It's currently trading at 343. And just to be fair, I don't like really investing in gold companies. I don't think gold is it's not that exciting to me. I think there's a lot more exciting opportunities out there. But this stock looks really under HMY, ticker HMY, Hector, Mary, Yahoo. And look at this PE, 580. I was looking at the financials a little more this morning, and this stock just looks wildly undervalued. The company recently announced a heightened dividend, and some analysts, JP Morgan, kind of gave some upgrades on it with a price target of 410. It's not a very liquid stock, so usually I trade options, but not on something like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and put out an order to buy some shares. I'm going to go high conviction here. Why exactly now? Is it just because you just noticed it now? Is that? Yeah, I mean, it came to my attention, and then I started watching it for a few days, and I was looking at the chart. It looks beaten down, but like we're getting some strength here. And again, it's more about the financials to me on this, that I feel very confident that this is being undervalued, and we could see, a 20-30% increase in the stock over the next year.
Okay. So you're doing it right now?
I'm doing it right now. $1,000. I'm going high conviction review order buy. You are placing a good for day market order to buy current. Yep. You will receive approximately 290 shares.
Market order. Yes. I love the market order. Don't sell them your flow. Don't sell them.
Why market orders, guys?
Yes. I love it, AB. I love it.
Dude, I can't back that anytime.
Broken.
Yeah, I can't be backed that anytime. I've never in my life put in one market order.
Oh, come on.
So you'll see
Thousands of
You'll
orders.
see how high conviction I am
Thousands
on
of
this
orders.
trade. It is now accounted for 22.27% of my portfolio diversity in HMY. Let's go. I'm looking for $4 as my price target. Then I'm out.
What's your stop loss?
Don't have one.
AB, since you're feeling ballsy, I bet you want to take a screenshot and post that this is what we're buying from the Benzinga Twitter handle.
Oh no! Do not do that. Do not do that.
Oh, Spencer, real quick. I know we talked about trading. Spencer, did you hear AB threw you under the bus like a couple of weeks ago, or tried to?
I think I did tell. I don't know if I told Spencer. I said it on air last week while he was out.
What? No.
Give him a 1 minute recap.
All right, so real quick, when the OnlyFans news came out that they weren't supporting adult content anymore, we put out a tweet from Benzinga saying, if you need to make money now that you're out of a job, sign up for Benzinga Pro, whatever. And it was a funny tweet. And then Zunaid calls me that night at like 11 p.m. and he's like, dude, was that you that posted that on Twitter? I was like, yeah. He's like, okay, well, Jason just called me and is like upset that we posted something about OnlyFans from the Twitter. And I was like, yeah, well, actually, Spencer gave me the green light.
Bro, straight up just said, yeah, that was, it went from, yeah, I did it to, yeah, Spencer actually said it was okay.
It was immediate. It was like immediate.
They blamed me in the tweet. Everyone said this was Money Mitch that put this up.
A couple of things. I want to hit a couple of stocks here real quick that the chat has.
Citron just went ahead and tweeted, by the way. It said, sorry, can I interrupt you real quick?
Yep. Go.
They just tweeted it. They said ticker REAL, real, $30 target. Luxury resale has attracted more new buyers since 2019 than all previous years combined. And that ticker is moving. You already got 400,000 shares traded, ticker REAL. But anyway,
real.
You actually got moves on this yesterday. This rumor was floating around yesterday. If you take a look at the intraday chart, you had a pop there around 11:30 in the morning, and then also at 1 intraday on real. So this is they're definitely looking at this. INDP is back. Real quick here. I really want to hit these. We're getting asked about Pfizer. I'm not sure why, to be quite honest with you. I understand that they had news today. I understand that they had news today, about this being, booster shots and docs released before the key FDA meeting. So there should be some good news flow in here.
Yeah, and also kids. Kids are going to be eligible for the vaccine soon.
It's a bunch of them. If you look, all of them are pretty much moving. REGN, BIB, BNTX.
So REGN doesn't necessarily have a vaccine, right? They just have a therapeutic for COVID.
Yeah, Regeneron's not a treatment.
So we're looking at Pfizer. I personally am not using the vaccine trade. I'm looking for something else. I will say though, if we take a look at Pfizer here, we're bouncing pretty much off of that 0.618 level on the fib. That's your golden ratio from this most recent run up, which is where I would put the most weighting on some of the recent price action. So I actually don't mind this trade in terms of an entry right here at 45. I'd put my stop here around 42.5, 43. I'm not sure we're going to hit 52, but we're kind of midway through that retracement here on Pfizer. So I don't particularly like this catalyst, but if you do, the spot's not bad here for you to take that. And then real quick, we had another one here. I've already forgot what it was. It was Man U. Rebar is asking about Man U.
Yeah,
so
I keep seeing that.
Time out a sec. So here's the thing. So Man U. So why does a soccer team have a stock? That much I can't answer you, but if you take a look at this daily chart, I mean, this thing hasn't really gone anywhere. So I'm going to be real with you right now. I don't know what your plan was, Rebar Smith. I don't know what your plan was, but I'm going to be real with you. If you bought this because of the Cristiano Ronaldo signing, sell it. That trade is done, bro. You don't have, this thing doesn't go anywhere. I know there's a lot of volume here recently. There's better opportunity for your money somewhere else. Unless you want this to be like a long-term hold or you have some other information, please share it with us. We want to hear that. But otherwise, to me, it feels to me like you bought this because of the CR7 signing. That trade's over, my friend. I think you can close that one out.
Yeah, Man U is a really good lesson in understanding what your stock actually gets you, right? Because if you have to look into a little bit, do a little bit of research. You got to look at filings. You got to look at some SEC stuff, but shares of it. every share comes with something, right? Whether it's voting rights or whatever, it corresponds to some sort of privilege for owning stock in a company, right? As shares of MANU don't actually get you much. If you own this stock, you really don't get. And you don't get anything really in the way of voting rights. The majority of the companies in a different share class. Those are what the insiders own. Insiders do not own MANU. They own an entirely different class of shares. This is just quite frankly, is just a pool of liquidity probably for them. But you don't really get anything by owning. You don't get any privileges, any voting rights by owning the stock. And as Ryan said, it doesn't really do anything. I went back to 2013 on a weekly chart. This stock does nothing. It does not move with the performance of the soccer team. It's really kind of a nothing burger. So know what you own. Know what your stock is actually getting you when you buy it. It's in terms of voting rights and the like. This one doesn't get you anything.
Chris, one of our teammates here, Chris, is making the bull case for you in the chat. Chris, gentleman's bet. I'll take the other side of it. I do not think that just because they made the Champions League, this thing is guaranteed to go higher. I don't think that connection is there, frankly. I just don't. I don't have a position here. Again, I'm going to look for something else to actually trade, but I will more than happy do a gentleman's bet with you. I think Man U is going to be between 17 and 19 a year from now. We'll check it out. Champions League, no effect at all.
Okay, and then I want to, before we forget a question, I think it was Jeff who asked about market orders. Look, there's no such thing as like a perfect order. Every order has pros and cons. The reason Mitch probably hates market orders is because he's very picky about his price, right? He wants his price. That's what a limit order gets you. It gets you price over time. Your timing may be off, but you're gonna get the price right.
This is my thing. It's price control, right? If you use a limit order, you have the control of the price that you're getting in or out. At market, you literally leave it up to someone else at what price you're going to get.
Yes. So a limit order does not mean you're going to get your price. It just gives you more control over the price that you get. A market order will give you less control over the price you get, but more control over when you get it. And
it just depends what you're looking for. If you want guaranteed entry at your price, you use a limit order. If you want guaranteed entry to the stock, you use a market order.
So let me explain why I think market orders are like a complete no in day trading. Because in day trading, you're looking for momentum, right? And a lot of times when you're looking for these momentums, you're going to get into stocks that have not the most liquid stock, right? And with that being mentioned, like let's say the stock we were looking at, the INDP, the stock that was halting out. If you go and you put a market order to buy when that stock is jumping 50 cents, God bless you. You're going to get, let's just say the finger is going to go fast. Because you will get screwed.
It's a great point, and Ryan said it too. It comes down to what you're doing. If you're trying to like scalp a nickel or a dime, and you're using market orders, you're not going to last very long, frankly. By doing that, limit orders are kind of your only path forward. If you're looking for quick day trades, right? But if you're not, then it all depends on who you are and what you're trying to do. But there are different strokes for different folks.
And so we're talking about day trading here. I'll give you a hypothetical example of something that I've done a whole bunch of times. I have a very specific entry price. I put my limit order there. I either get filled or I don't. If I get filled, the trade is on. If I don't get filled, I look for the next opportunity. Once I'm in the trade, if it reaches my price target, I don't necessarily need a limit order. I can hit sell at market. And even if 100 of those shares sell at a price, a cent or two below where I'm trying to get out, I still guaranteed my exit and thus guaranteed the closure of my trade. So again, this comes down to what is it that you're looking for and how precise do you need to be? Not accurate, precise. There's a difference, and that's where some of these orders.
Go ahead. It just also comes down to sizing. Also, what type of sizing you have.
Our next guest, David Green, he never uses market. He only uses limit orders, right? So it really just depends on
This would be a great question to also ask David a little bit later. Zunaid, we got a
Boy,
question
stop
for
it. You want to ask him the question because he supports your answer of limit orders.
I mean, he's a day trader, right? That's what I'm talking to.
I'm just having a good time.
So,
Someone asked, do I use market orders when trading options? If I'm trading Apple, I'm okay with the market order. I don't really care.
It's liquid.
Exactly, right? But if I'm trading like, say, a Tesla, if I'm trading like a Microsoft or whatever, something that has more than a 5-cent spread, no, I'm going to go ahead and use a limit order. Especially, I'll give you an example. Yesterday, I traded Crocs. I believe ticker is CROX. I bought it at the 152, sold it at 154, but I had options. That thing was so spready that I need to get in and out, and I can't try to wait for the bid to be where I want it to be, and then I hit sell, then I got to hit filled. So something like Crocs, which isn't as liquid, I'm going to go ahead and use limit orders to get in and to get out. Something like Apple, I will use limit orders in case I go to the fridge and I know that it's moving, right? For example, yesterday when I had the puts on Apple, yeah, I went ahead and had limit orders in there just for my order to get placed, but it all just depends. I would say 80% of the time, and I don't like agreeing with Mitch.
Works every time.
80% of the time, I do use limit orders on options. 20% of the time, I will go ahead and use market orders.
Okay. I want to get to a couple more stocks here before we bring David on and you guys hop off. USO oil. Okay, we are at resistance, ladies and gentlemen. We are right there. Oil has been ripping. Here we are. I'm on the USO. Most people don't trade the futures. You can trade the USO is your most liquid oil ETF. You can also just do ExxonMobil or Chevron or whatever if you're looking for individual stocks. But we are above $50 now, and we have resistance in the $51 handle. So watch out. The key levels of interest, right? $51, we're right there in the USO. Also, uranium, I'm not trying to be a smartass here, but does anyone actually understand or can explain to me why uranium is doing what it's doing right now? Does anyone actually know? Because
Go ahead.
I don't. I've been looking, not super hard, but looking when I get a few minutes here and there. I have not seen a single real fundamental reason for why uranium is doing what it's doing. Does anyone actually know? Someone help me out.
What is your definition of a real fundamental reason?
Yeah, I'm like scared to sound stupid.
Well, no, I mean, I think isn't there fears with isn't there? I mean, uranium is a really important mineral. Isn't there some fears with some of the global events going on now?
Okay. I mean,
I'm asking you. I don't.
So
know
for me,
classify as
the only time I've heard of uranium being a great place because I think something to do with Bill Gates is in a company that has a good amount of control of it, and also because of the space travel stuff. Those are the two theses as I've heard about. But while you two talk, I would try to find out more about that.
Yeah, I mean, and see, this is what it's going on in the chat, right? Because Tiger Woods, the actual golfer, is saying it's because of Sprott, which is the company behind the Uranium Trust. But you got people saying, "Oh, we're 10 years out of Fukushima." Okay, so we're 10 years away from Fukushima. Who cares? You got people saying insider trade, insider buying, and there's no reason. That's my point. There's no reason. Is my point, right? North Korea. Okay.
I would point that if you really take a look in a long-term approach, maybe the monthly charts, you're going to start seeing that all minerals are essentially up. All of them are starting to come on the upside. I think this all has to just do with the supply outlook, that these are all getting lower in supply and demand is still needed. So I think that's what it is in the long run. I don't think there's one specific.
Oh wait, I do want
to.
I
also think demand is projected to go up hundreds of % over the next few years.
Okay. So Tiger Woods seems to be onto something here. Apparently, Sprott, which again is the company behind the Uranium Trust, has been doing a lot of buying of uranium, right? Like of actual like the commodity itself, right? So I guess that's triggering some. A waterfall of buying, right? I guess, right. It comes back to the company behind the Uranium Trust doing some buying of uranium. But okay, so this is just market dynamics here. There's nothing fundamental here. It's just market dynamics leading to this ridiculous rally, which I guess was my point to begin with, which is like market dynamics is not even to me like that's not a reason for a long sustained move. This is like similar to what happened to Viacom, right? It was market dynamics is what moved Viacom. It wasn't anything to do with the company. In this case, there's nothing to do with the actual bull case for the commodity. It's just somebody doing a lot of buying. It's 10:29 though. We got a minute before David Green. Do we want to go around the horn and do some final thoughts?
Yeah, I'll lead first here.
Yeah.
I'm just going to talk about the Qs because I thought that was the biggest important thing today. We did break down below that, but we kind of did a little bounce. So we broke down at 10.15, bounced, but we really rejecting to get back above 374. It's not looking good for me for tech going into the end of the day. We'll need to reverse and get back above VWAP to finally show a little bit of a bullish trend, and it's looking like the Qs don't want to get up and hold above that 374. We'll see what happens.
All right, who wants?
All right, I'm going to keep watching uranium. Spencer seems triggered. I'm going to keep watching. I would like to have a list of uranium stocks to trade tomorrow. I'm hoping that I can go all in on uranium overnight and then play a gap up and wag my finger in Spencer's face tomorrow. So I'm going to watch uranium for the rest of the day here, and we're going to see how that goes.
Oh man,
I'll give you a list of stocks right now if that's what you really want.
I'll help you.
I love it. I love it. Can you share my screen real quick?
Sure.
So here's what I'm looking at. Wait, is that weird?
Screen
It's a
set.
little weird.
We don't need the matrix.
There we go.
Okay, was it? I don't know what's happening. Anyway, so there's a couple of things that I'm looking at here. AMP, again, I just want to, do what Mitch did because I want a promotion as well. AMP, we had exclusive breaking news here at 9 o'clock. You can see the move from 145 all the way to 180. That's a nice 22% move. And then again, yesterday we had news on NNVC, which we broke all the way down here. What is that? $4.20 went as high as $5.30. That's a whole dollar move there. So if you have it, check it out. Benzinga Pro, pro.benzinga.com. 2-week free trial. No credit card needed. How you like that, Mitch?
One more thing about AMPE. You had a daily break on the chart above 175. So that could actually propel it throughout the rest of the day here. So I like that.
There you go.
I like the AMPE.
All right. Zunaid, Ryan, Mitch, thanks as always, guys. Smash the like for those three. Zunaid, I hope your YOLOs work out for you here.
We'll see you tomorrow.
They won't, but I'll cry tomorrow. See ya.
See you guys tomorrow. Let's bring on David Green, and we'll start with this conversation that we just had about order types, limits versus market orders. David Green, good morning, sir. You're just having a conversation about market order types or order types. You don't use market orders ever, do you?
Occasionally, it depends on what kind of trade we're looking for. If we're looking in a base trade and we're looking for something to break out, and we can't pick the exact spot where it's going to break out from, we'll use a market order.
Okay.
But as the other guys, 90% of the orders that we use are limit orders because we're waiting for stocks to hit certain levels before we get involved in them.
Yeah.
So 90% of what we do is limit orders. Sometimes when we get in a trade, I'll show you a trade this morning that we did that lined up really beautifully for us. This UPST. We were watching it early this morning, and you guys know we use pivot points. This is a pivot point all the way down here. We had a spot at 261.50 that we bought with a limit order. Everybody got in a trade. I mean, the stock's up $13 from there. But when it started going up, that's when I'll use a market order to get out of some of the trade.
Okay.
So, when it was up $1, I'll say, okay, guys, let's sell 50% here with a market order. And it was up $2. Okay, guys, let's sell another 25% with a market order. So when something is going in our favor and it moves quickly, which it does in some of these stocks, we'll occasionally use a market order to get out of the trade.
Okay, good.
But most would look in limit orders. Guys, you still like the double top and Myrna here? It's going very, very slow. Let's talk about uranium.
Oh, please. Please. Let's talk about uranium. What do you got for me here?
I'm kidding. I don't know anything about uranium.
Oh, okay.
All I know is, I'll tell you this. To me, and again, we have to watch the news and we have to have our scanners and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
But we're reactionary. I don't care why a stock is doing what it's doing. If a stock is going up, it's because more people are buying it than selling it. Our job is to find levels to trade the stock. That's it. So it doesn't really matter to us. Today is the first day we got involved with Nat Gas. Ooh. And I got to show you a weekly chart of Nat Gas. This is the ETF, BOIL, that trades with Nat Gas.
Yeah.
And look at the weekly chart on this. So here's a weekly chart. We're at about a 88 RSI. We are 25 points above our closest moving average. So the only way we could really trade this, and they do have options in Boyle. So we're going to look to sell some upside calls, 90s or 100s that are they're only monthly, so it's a little more risky. But we think the stock is just way, way overdone. Doesn't mean it can't go higher. So the way we got involved in this stock was with cheap little stock, cold. This is the opposite. When Boyle goes up, cold goes down. First time we got involved in it at all.
KOLD. Okay.
KOLD. So the first time we got involved in it at all was today. And we bought some at $8.15. We sold some at $8.45, but we're in it. I'm going to hang on to this a little bit. I mean, this is a weekly chart. This ETF was $35, $40 3 months ago. So we just think nat gas is getting a little overdone to the upside. So we started a little swing trade in KOLD. That was the only swing trade we did today. Lots of charts reversing now. What's up? The spider's going up. Yes, the spiders. This has been a very choppy morning. Good morning, everybody from Benzinga land. What's up, guys? Been a very choppy morning. I mean, look at the spiders. You know, we opened, we spiked down a point, we spiked up 2 points, and we're kind of just sitting in the middle of everything right now. So we're being kind of patient right now. I don't see anything that's – I don't even want to do the double top and Myrna now, guys. It's taking too long to get there. We'll keep an eye on it, see what it does, but it's taking too long to get there. Yeah, be careful on the shorts now. Myrna is a better buy now than sell. Yes, absolutely. Overall market, I mean, we were short last week. We made some money in a VIXY trade. I think we were long at 25.65. It got to 27. I still think between now and the end of the year, we get some kind of correction. Where are we? September 15th. I think we get maybe between a 5 and 10% correction at some point between now and the end of the year.
We're
just my opinion.
We're halfway to that.
Well, listen, I'll show you the spider chart too, all right? Because this thing has been, I mean, it's just perfect. I want to show you the pullback, and this is a weekly chart of the spider spent.
Okay,
so,
okay.
You know, we're going back 7 months, and
I know
more than that now. Let's see, yeah, some December. Okay, let's just call it December. So we're 9 months in, and we haven't come close to breaking a trend line for this entire 9 months, right? And what we've done, the worst we got was pulled back to our 15 EMA. You know, we were at 440, we pulled back to 422. And this is what it just did again, right? We were 454. We went down 10 points. What's that, 2.5%? 2%?
Yeah.
And it exactly held our trend line again. I mean, you know, there's no question that we're in an unbelievable bull market. The chart just tells you that. But I was at least hoping maybe we could pull back to a 15-minute, which is around 438. You know, 438, 15 points. That's only like 3.5%, right? So to get any kind of real connection, here's where we're looking at 390. Then you're talking about, you know, between 10 and 12%. That would be my target if and when we ever get a correction. But the market's strong. I mean, it's resilient. It's strong. It just every time they think they're going down, it just doesn't. It's just reloading and reloading and reloading. Well, did Myrna do a double top here, guys? 436.37. Got the 436.87. It's giving you a 30-cent trade. Big whoopee dippy. Nothing. I think it's strong. You guys did the double top this morning. All right, good. Good. So you know what's good, Spence? I've gotten a lot of people from on Mondays and Tuesdays that come into the private trading room.
Mm-hmm.
And they're doing really, really well. I mean, really well. They're coming in. Some of them are signing up to stay with us in the room. Some of them are coming in for the 5-day trial, which we offer to everybody, and get a good sense as to what it is we do here every day. INDP. There's another wacky one today, right? Yeah. This stock.
Well, it was in and out of some halls. So
yeah. It's only up right now 163%. But, okay, here's our technical, right? This is almost looks like the spider chart on a longer term. Every time we've pulled back to a trend line, we've gotten a nice bounce up. And we just hit that trend around 1830. So that could have been a little spot to get in. Because this stock is so high, I'd rather be a little more patient, see if we can get it down to the 1710 level, which is our 15 EMA. So let's put a little order out there, guys. coming in a little bit here now. Let's go 17.10. We'll go with a stop. That would be a regular trend trade. Be down $4.50 from the top. So we'll put out a little order to buy it at 17.10. Now, the feeling behind this trade, Spence, and everybody who follows us knows is it's in an uptrend. It pulled back. It's breaking the 9 a little bit, but if the stock is in a strong trend, it's going to hold off 15 EMA and then turn back up from there, which it might do right now off the 9. So we got a little bit out. The good thing about our technical analysis is it tells us exactly where we want to get in and out of stocks, right? What we use anyway, and everybody uses a different thing. So we're looking to buy a little if it pulls back to 17.10, 17.15. We'll see if it gives us that in the next couple of minutes. We will have a stop order on every single trade that we do, right? I'll give this 50 cents. If it breaks the trend by 50 cents, we'll get out. And then we'll look for another support level, which would be down around the 15.80 level. And, this is what we spend all day doing, basically. What do you guys do in Myrna? Yeah, I mean, the double top's not really working. I'll explain to everybody what a double top is, just because it's one of the first trades that the traders learn about. So this morning, Myrna made a high of 436.30. That's right here on our charts. So the stock went down $14 from there. And technically, when the stock comes back up and hits that level again, right around 436.40, it's a double top, and the stock should pull back from there. This is a good example of why we don't do every single trade that lines up for us, because the market's very strong now. And our opinion was that it's going to easily go through that, and it's not a good trade. So unfortunately, there's nuances involved in trading, and it's not always just a black and white thing. We got to look at every trade on an individual basis. Is it setting up? Is it good? I don't know. Because the market was getting so strong there for a minute, we backed away from it and we didn't do the trade.
I'm wondering, Dave, how often you look for reversals, like at the 10 o'clock mark or the 10:30 mark or the 11 o'clock mark. Because typically every day you do see some kind of a reversal. Today you're seeing in the Qs, right? The Qs just bounced hard at 10:30 or 10:30, somewhere in the last half hour.
Let's look exactly. 10:15.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. Someone in my room brought that up this morning and said, Dave, I notice almost every day between 10 and 10:30.
Yep.
It's either the Qs or the spiders that we get a reversal in that. And we actually have someone in the room tracking it now. And that's something you can take advantage. I mean, here's the bottom line. We came to a little support level in the Qs anyway, right around, 370, 360. It's definitely a pattern that repeats itself, and there's no reason that you shouldn't be able to take advantage of it, especially if it's happening every day.
Are you watching casinos at all, or not really?
Yes.
Yes? Oh, yeah.
Yes, of course. I think it's getting way overdone. I think we missed a little opportunity probably in LVS this morning.
Okay.
We traded down at $35. I mean, Macau's not going to give these guys licenses to gamble there.
Yeah, right.
Who's that going to benefit? I mean,
right. How bad do you think it's going to be? Right. I mean, is it going to be this bad? I don't know. Probably not.
I don't think so. No, yeah. I do not think so. I think I think they're definitely buying opportunities. I mean, I wanted to have one more. Typically, we look for a stock to have 3 days down in a row and get the relative strength. If we can get the relative strength to around 20, that's when we can look for a reversal. And if you look what happened here, Spence, this was going down before all this was announced.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
But look what happened here. We had, 7 down days in a row, but it was the first time the relative strength got below 20, and there was a reversal. So we basically reversed from, trying to see the low, 36.40 in 1 day. It went up like 4 points. So I don't believe this is something that's going to last very long. I think these stocks are fine long term. And I don't, look, this is just the latest thing that China does to throw a monkey wrench on whatever they want to, whenever they want to, right?
Yeah,
we know what happened with Baba a few weeks back, and actually Baba looks very weak again on the chart.
It's everyone. It's any stock, any company with exposure to China is liable to do what's happening right now in the casinos, and we've seen it. Whether it's solar, internet, EV, e-commerce, whatever, education, all of it.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, it sets up for good opportunities. That's the bottom line.
Yeah,
it sets up for good trading opportunities.
Let me see if there's anything from the chat. Natural gas, UNG, they're talking about. Yeah, still going. Are we going to hit 20? Probably in UNG. Oh, my goodness.
Let's look.
What a run. Oh, my God.
Yeah, I mean, listen, and I'm just looking at this from a trader's perspective. They're very stretched out to the upside. Now, I'm not saying these things can't go higher longer term, but, you know, Boyle's worse. I mean, this thing is now, if we go to the weekly, again, now here's the first time, though, let's talk about relative strength, right? We are almost at 85 relative strength now. So listen, normally when stocks are stretched out this far and you get an 85 RSI, you're typically going to get at least a short-term reversal.
Just to tell people, typically the way RSI works is if it's above 70, that's an indication that the stock may be in the keyword there, may be overbought. If it's below 30, it may be oversold. But 30 and 70 are your two bogeys. So he's saying that UNG is at 85 right now. So a little overextended.
It's a little overextended. And again, I'm just talking about a trade. You know, this thing could pull back, you know, $10 and still be in a major uptrend.
Yeah.
These are kind of divergences that we look for. And again, this is the first day we got involved. So, you know, you're talking about, if we go back to the weekly, well, let's go daily. You know, we have watched this stock go from $55 to where we are right now. And today was the first day we got involved in it at all. And again, we just think it's a trade and it's gotten a little stretched out for a trade. Do we have any thoughts on Uber?
Uber. That chart looks ugly. Last I checked, it always looks ugly. How's it doing now? Yeah.
Let's take a look. Yeah, that is not a good looking chart, guys and girls. That looks horrible. It's, first of all, the volume has died down in this substantially from where it was. But look at daily, look at weekly. I mean, there's nothing here. 0.0. I wouldn't even consider a swing trade in it because the relative strength is still right in the middle at 35. David Tepper bought this. Okay. I don't know who David Tepper is.
Yes, you do.
I'll tell you. Of course, I do. I'll tell you I'll tell you guys what I tell everybody in my room when anyone brings up another name, Kathy Woods or David Tepper or whoever it is, right?
Yeah.
I only care about the people who are in my room, all right? And when you're talking about these other people like Kathy Wood or David Tepper or any of those other people, these people have access to billions and billions of dollars. So, you know, when Kathy Wood, the biggest position is Tesla or I don't know, Coin, whatever it is. She's in all these stocks.
Yeah.
She can afford to keep buying them until the cows come home, and eventually she's probably going to be okay. But, you know, I look at a chart like Coin. This chart looks horrible.
Yeah.
Right? This is not a good-looking chart on a daily chart. Weekly chart, it doesn't look good. But, again, when you have that kind of buying power and stability, I don't know, I guess you'll be right eventually.
David, I'd love to get your thoughts on Microsoft here because they just last night announced a massive buyback dividend hike while they're at it. So much cash. Stock got
look at this weekly chart too, right? This is, to me, Microsoft is like Apple. I mean, Microsoft is something that should be in everybody's long-term portfolio. Look, I don't know if I'm going to go start a major investment in it at these prices, right? But this is like Apple to me. You know, you guys, I've owned Apple for 30 years. Of course, we sell it from time to time, but the chart looks great. I mean, what's not to love? You know what I'm saying? What's not to love? The only way you'll get a big pullback in this is if the market has a pullback and it just trades with the market. Or they start, you know, rotating out of big tech because they're worried about they start to taper and stuff like that, which a lot of people are talking about. I don't know. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. Who knows? Whoa, GameStop just missed that short, guys. Yeah, did anyone get it? So let's talk a little technical here, Spence, in the trade we were just looking at, right?
Okay, Jimmy.
GameStop went from 200, and this is a great example. We had a pivot point, which is a resistance level at 203.50. It exactly hit 203.41, so it missed it by 9 cents. And within a minute, it gave you a $1.50 trade. So these are the opportunities that we're looking for all day long. And you'll be amazed how many times something hits one of our pivot points or a moving average or gets far from the moving average, that our technical analysis works. It's not going to work every time. That's why we have stop orders. So in a stock like this, this is how my people would have done a bracket order. And a bracket order is you can put in your order to get in the trade, your stop order, and your order to get out of the trade all at the same time. So in a trade like this, we're short at 203.50. I would give it, GameStop, you got to give it between 50 cents and $1 stop, and you cover for 50 cents and $1 profit, and you would have been in and out of that trade in, I don't know, maybe a minute or two. So look, what we do here is not long-term investing, right? The guys before me, you guys are traders. Some of them are traders too, and some of them put stuff away and hold it.
Yeah.
Easy, Mike. I'm here to learn. Well, you're in the right spot with Benzinga. I can tell you that right now. Okay. Ooh, nice bounce in AMC. AMC is another one we should talk about, right? Let's talk about AMC. Hard stops. Yes, as a beginning trader, you should absolutely have hard stops. Don't trust yourself to put in an order and say, oh, if it goes down against me, then I'll hit the button and get out. That's a recipe for disaster. Because as traders, we don't like to admit when we're wrong. And when you push that button, you're admitting that you're wrong. So have it in there beforehand. And look, this becomes, after a while, and it's the truth, you become robotic in this. Here, I'm looking at AMC. All right, good. So let's show you AMC from this morning. This is another great example of technical analysis, Spence. And again, this is what we use. I think for the year, we're about 82 or 83% for the year in all of our trades. So we make on a lot more than we lose. But look here. AMC this morning went from 46.60 to 43.80. Now, I'm not going and putting these lines in after this happens, right? Look what happened when we hit our pivot point. I mean, that was the absolute low in the stock.
Yeah.
And we bounced, and now we're bouncing
Well,
again.
it doesn't look like you hit it exactly, but it was close enough, right?
Let's see. It might not have. As a matter of fact, someone in my room told me they missed it by 2 cents this morning. So there you go. And there's lots of trades we miss by 2 or 3 cents sometimes because we're using limit orders, right? So now that we've gone from 43.77, here's our resistance level at 47.33. So when we have moving averages above where a stock is trading, that's where we want to short the stock. So we've gone from 43.77 to 47.33. Odds, all right? So I like to talk about odds every time we do a trade. And by using the technical analysis, and I'm not saying you have to use ours, use something because otherwise you're flying blind. But by using the technical analysis, it puts the odds in our favor that this trade is going to work. The stock will have gone up $4 and hit a resistance level. The odds are that when it hits this level, it's going to reverse and start going down again. And everything that we do is about trying to put the odds in our favor on every trade that we do. So we'll put an order out to sell this at 47.33. And, in a $47 stock like AMC, I tell my people, be a little more aggressive with your size because it's not a stock that's going to rip up and go $2 against you immediately, right? So you know me, I usually trade 100, 200 shares. I will do 300 shares up there at that level. Well, 200 shares. So when things line up to us that look better technically, that's when we can adjust our share size and do more. Go ahead, Spence.
No, I was going to say we got 7 minutes left, guys, with David here. So drop.
Yeah, anyone have questions and stuff?
Or tickers in the chat. We'll ask him to take a look. And if you haven't already, hit that like button for us, please, and thank you. By the way, the links for David's trading course, Wall Street Global Trading Academy, in the YouTube description. Links to his trading room also in the YouTube description. I'm not going to put them in the chat because they're right there again in the YouTube description. I'm going to say it again, YouTube description. All the links are in there for your pleasure and perusal and convenience. So tickers are flying now. Oh, okay, let's do a few. Let's look at Crocs, David, CROX. They had their investor day yesterday. They gave some very upbeat guidance, I guess. Yeah. Everyone's buying Crocs apparently because the stock is going. It's not an all-time high, is it? No, it is. It is an all-time high.
1 second, yeah. Hold on 1 second. AFRM's good, guys. 109.11. Let's put an order out.
Okay, Affirm. 109.11 and Affirm.
Yeah, so we're looking at Affirm, and we just made a high of 112.79. We got a couple of support levels down around this 109.20, 109.30 level. So we put a limit order in to buy if it gets to one of our levels. We'll leave it there. If we get hit, it's great. If it doesn't, we don't get hit. All right, let's look at Crocs.
Yeah.
Crocs is selling an awful lot of shoes.
Yeah.
Look at that. Yeah, so yesterday was the huge day in this stock, right? We spiked up to $157. That's got to be one of the most that this stock ever moved in one day, if not the most, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it was up 20 points yesterday. And again, look at this one. This is like, might as well look at the market, right? It's been in a beautiful uptrend the whole time anyway. I got nothing bad to say. What are you going to say?
I don't know.
There's nothing bad to say about it. I mean, you know, on a longer term basis, it's fine as long as it holds like $143. But again, am I going to run in and start an investment in Crocs at these levels? No.
What are the red that was from exclusives only? What are those red dots on the chart called?
All right, let's go to a little shorter time frame so we can see.
Yeah. Tell them.
Okay. So those are our pivot points. So what a pivot point is, it's almost like a Fibonacci. It measures retracement in stocks after they move a certain amount. We use them as we would any other moving average. So when I'm looking at a stock like Crocs, and they're extreme. They're almost, you know, we're going to have a 20 or an 80 RSI if stocks get to these levels. So, you know, we have a support level down at 139.80. That's 12 points from where it is. It's not going to happen. And we have a resistance level over 161. But they're called pivot points. And yes, I can show you guys how to set up pivot points, Stojan. When we finish up in a couple of minutes, I'll show anybody in the room who wants to do it. So it's just another technical tool that we use. They're called pivot points, and we'll use them as we would a regular moving average. One thing I want to mention, because I know we got to get out of here in a couple of minutes, guys. Yeah. My email is posted there, guys, and my private trading room is closed. We're full. I don't have 200 people in my room. I don't even have 150 people in my room. We try to keep it up close and personal. But always for my Benzinga people, you're welcome to come in for a 5-day free trial. My email was posted. Spencer is not going to post it again. There's no need to.
Well, again, the link is in the description. So.
There you go. Link is in the description. Guys, send me an email. Anyone who wants, and I will have you in to hang out with us for a 5-day trial.
I'll just put David's email in the chat, and then if you want to email him, you're free to. And
perfect. And Joanna, if you come hang out in the room, I will show you how to set up your pivot points and everything. All right, AFRM, guys. Let's look and see if we still like this. So here's another thing that we'll do when we have a stock that comes close to hitting one of our levels, right? And then bounces up from there, we're going to cancel the order, and I'll tell you why. Chances are, if we come really close to hitting something, bounce a little, and then hit that level again, we're going to go through. So if something comes close to one of our levels and we didn't get it, look, if we would have spiked right down to 109.11, we would have had a 50-cent trade in it already. So we'll cancel that for now. We'll wait. We'll be patient. This is not, you know, investing, guys. This is trading, right? And we're looking for short-term opportunities. You guys want to talk investing? Go ahead. I'll answer any questions you have about anything. You know, we do options. We do swing trading. But day trading is a different animal, as everybody knows. We try to just average a couple bucks a day. Then add up to bigger amounts at the end of the week, month, and the year. IRNT. Again, we can't short this one, right? Otherwise, it would be day trading is crazy. Well, listen, it's all about information, right? 90% of the people in my room are using Benzinga Pro as a guide to help them with trading. To me, it is as important, guys, as any moving average I have or anything else that I use in my charts. They are the best for scanners. They are the best news service. I heard you guys talking earlier this morning, Spence, that something came out and then the stock just like absolutely exploded. I don't know which one it was, SBE or one of the ones that you guys were talking about. So if you guys at least, I mean, you have to take advantage of the free trial from Benzinga. I think it's 2 weeks, right, Spence?
Free 2 weeks, pro.benzinga.com.
Yeah, silly if you don't, guys. It is as important tool as anything else that we use. Really.
We got the scanners, we got the news, we got the squawk. The squawk is like the best part. Anyway, David, 10:59, final thoughts before we hop off today.
My final thoughts is that, I don't know, trade them as you see them. I do think we're going to have a little pullback in this market at some point. And the only thing that we did, the only swing trade I have on it all now is we're short a little of that BOIL. Trade at your own risk, guys. Okay. Have stop orders on every single trade that you do and learn your craft. Take your time to study it. And I love everybody. We'll see everybody on Monday.
All right. Thanks a lot, David. Have a good
Thank you,
holiday.
Spence.
All right.
Appreciate the opportunity.
Again, as I said before, earlier in the day, the redirect feature on YouTube is not working for us today. So up next, SPACs Attack with Mitch and Chris. The link is pinned to the top of the YouTube chat. I'll put it again in the chat one more time. So for everyone watching on Twitch and Twitter, there's the link right there to the next stream coming up live right now. SPACs Attack, Mitch, Chris, another exclusive interview with them or by them today coming up next on our channel, youtube.com/Benzinga TV. Thanks to all of you for hanging out with us this morning. We got let's get to 200 likes. Let's get to 200. We're at 169. I know we can get to 2. We can do it. Please remember, all the information from this show, from all of our shows, meant to be used as informational purposes only, not for investing or trading advice. And on that note, I'm going to wrap it up here. Give us a like, hit subscribe. We got SPACs Attack, followed by Power Hour, followed by Get Technical, followed by Moon or Bust. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Feedback, good, bad, otherwise, shows at benzinga.com. We always love to hear from you. We can't ever get to all the comments in the chat. We try very hard. I always try to engage more. It's difficult when you're doing the live thing and talking and watching the news and the charts. But I really, really, really do appreciate everyone in the chat, especially on YouTube, which is the most active chat. Everyone's sharing their thoughts there. I ask about uranium, and next thing I know, we got 10 people telling me that I'm stupid, and here's why uranium is up. So without you guys, this would not be nearly as fun. So thank you to everyone in the chat genuinely for sharing their knowledge with us, because we don't know everything. Why? How can we know it? We don't know anything, right? We do this to learn. We're all learning. You're learning. I'm learning. We're all learning. That's the point of this. All right. We're not at 200 likes, but I'm going to have to wrap it up because SPACs Attack is live now. So again, the link in chat, youtube.com/Benzinga for SPACs Attack. Coming up next. I will see you guys later. Good luck today and stay green.